Hey, I wanted to talk about successful homeschool. What does it even mean, right? I did this poster earlier this morning because I was inspired by someone on my Facebook page that said, reading to a child, you can accomplish more just by sharing an amazing story than some kids experience in a full day in a public school classroom. And I need you to understand something. I am not against public school teachers. I'm not against traditional schooling. When we homeschool, it's because we have chosen that style of educating for our kids and our families, and we have decided that it is the best solution to educate our kids at home. But reading to a child for an hour or two, you can get so much learning and so much growth just from spending time cuddled up and sharing story together. And truly, you can accomplish more between the covers of a book than some kids experience in a full school day. So I wanted to just talk just for a second, what does successful homeschool look like? And we have to start by saying that what's successful to you may be different than what is successful to me and my husband when it comes to homeschooling. By the time my kids graduate and leave home, they will love to read, like devour books. They'll have a rock solid foundation in math, adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, measuring, all the basics. They will be excellent communicators on paper and orally, and they will not have lost their faith on their way out the door. Successful homeschooling to you may look different. There may be other things that you want your kids to know before they graduate high school. And we have things that we teach our kids, right? How to manage their finances, how to replace the toilet paper roll when it's empty, etc. But successful homeschool has some key elements to it. We have to remember that everyone, almost everyone, is walking around with a supercomputer in their hand today. Kids have access to information, so it's not as important that we know what to teach them, but we teach our kids how to learn. How do they find the information? How do they find help when they get stuck? These things are so critical, and it's why so many students are bored out of their brain, because they're just fed a waterfall of information rather than giving them the tools to learn how to learn and then releasing them into the wild, right? So successful homeschooling carries with it this need to teach kids to fall in love with reading. Now, how do you do that? You simply never stop reading aloud to your kids. Never stop reading aloud to your kids. Listen to audiobooks together. When they're cooking dinner, open a book and just read a chapter while they're cooking. When they're folding laundry, put on an audiobook. Have story, literature, and a variety of genres of writing be part of your family culture. If your kids are going crazy, bonkers, get a picture book and sit down in the middle of the living room and simply take a deep breath and start reading aloud. Do this as an experiment. I learned this from my friend Sarah with Read Aloud Revival, that when all chaos is going, when it's chaotic, grab a picture book, sit down, and start reading it aloud slowly to yourself and with expression. And watch what happens. The kids will come around, and they're all going to be sitting around you. Sometimes all the chaos needs is for mom to breathe a little bit of calm into the day. So fall in love with reading. Successful homeschoolers love to read all kinds of stuff. Now, they may not like every type of literature, but they love to read. This is huge. Learn to be an expert help seeker. What does that mean? When my older kids went to the community college to finish their high school and work on their associate's degrees, I said this every day. I don't care how you do in your classes. Well, I do. I don't care how you do in your classes. I care that you know how to find help when you get stuck. Who are the people that you'll go to? Because mom is still on your list of people that are going to help you, but I'm not at the top of the list anymore. So where are you going to find the help that you need to succeed in this class or in this job or whatever it is you're doing? Become an expert help seeker. When they were merging into school, what that meant was the first day or two of going on campus, they were required to simply go touch the professor's office door. That was it. Just go touch the door and come back. And then they were required by the end of that first week to walk into the office, to stick out their hand and say, "Hi, my name is," I just wanted to introduce myself and make it into your office before I need help, so that when I need help, I know how to find you. And I'm not going to be nervous because I've already been there. And they all did that. And they found the professors were warm and wonderful and amazing. So asking for help from professors and tutors, we have next door neighbors that are mathematicians or college professors, and so they knew if they got stuck, they could ask them, etc. Become an expert help seeker. So love to read, become an expert help seeker. Can you see how this would truly help your kids thrive in life? Because they can read what they need to learn, and they know where to look for the professionals. They know where to look for the help that they need. So key. And then we want them to embrace learning simply for the joy of learning itself. This is key. Do your kids love to learn? Do you love to learn? It doesn't matter what the topic is. It could be, one of my sons during COVID decided that he was bored out of his brain. And he decided to take his passion for crochet, because he was a super busy kid. I taught him how to crochet when he was 4. And he learned to crochet little critters. And during COVID, he dove deep, found all kinds of patterns, and made hundreds of little things. I'm sitting within hundreds of them, and they're all adorable. He would have a hard time because you can see his skill level. He hadn't learned how to make his stitches tight yet. When he makes this today, it's like really super tiny. Do you model a learning mindset? Do you dig deep into perfecting the art of pizza? Like, that's my thing in my house. I've made homemade pizza for the past 25 years maybe. And I currently have sourdough starter that was given to me by a friend that was family sourdough starter. It's over 100 years old. So my pizza now is made with 100-plus-year-old sourdough starter, and it is to die for. If you've taken my How to Memorize Psalm 1 class, you'll know that I am known for saying pizza is love. Do you model learning with your kids? Do they see you diving in? Do they see you learn to doodle and draw? This is a new skill, something I've always doodled on paper, but I have leaned into learning. I mean, look at this. You think I'm brilliant, or do you think I've been studying how to doodle from my coach, Diane? She's amazing. So successful homeschooling, it's not that hard. Don't get tripped up on what you need to teach your kids. Don't panic about things like trigonometry or the quadratic equation or the proper way to write an essay or how you complete an experiment in science following the scientific method, or which came first, the American Revolution or the Civil War. Like, don't worry about it. It's more important that your kids read, that they understand how their brain works. Everybody learns differently, right? Similar, but different. So how do your kids learn? Do they need to doodle? Do they need to dance? Do they need to write? Do they need to talk? How do they memorize things? How do they learn things? Where do they go to find help when help is needed? These are key to being successful in homeschool. Now, I can tell you all 5 of my sons were delayed if you lined them up next to the neighborhood kids in public school until they hit about high school. It meant that they bombed all their tests. Some of them didn't read till they were 10. One of them didn't read till they were 10. They were all delayed readers. They were all delayed writers. And now they're all masters of their little universes. I've got a historian, a screenwriter, a master musician, a scientist, and a coming up soon, potentially professional rower in college. And he'll go on to do great things in probably engineering and art. He's my artist. And it didn't matter what curriculum we used. It didn't matter what topics the kids were learning. What mattered was we leaned into how they learn and how to make it hands-on, how to make it fun. So if you've watched this far, I would love to give you a free copy, a PDF copy of my book, Homeschooling from the Inside Out, which will give you the tools that you need in order to observe your kids so that you can lean in and hone their character and their attitude, which are foundational to their success in life. So make sure that you grab a copy of Homeschooling from the Inside Out. And that's it. Successful homeschooling. It's well within your reach, I promise. And it has nothing to do with page 47 in any book that's out there. Grab your free copy of the PDF. And if you've watched to this part, go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe, and then hit the bell so that you don't miss anything new that's coming to you.